Hey everybody, welcome to part 12 of a 14-part series titled Marriage and Family. Glad y'all could join me today. Hey, be sure and like, share, comment, get these videos out there, and go check our YouTube channel, Daily Drink Ministry. Today's message is titled House of Refuge, and it's not so much focused on a direct relationship with our spouse or our children, but as a whole. How do we make our homes a house of refuge? And we're going to dive into that today. Y'all ready? Okay. Jump with me to Proverbs chapter 14. Proverbs 14, verse 26 and 27. And here's what it reads. It says, "In the fear of the Lord there is strong confidence, and his children will have a place of refuge." The fear of the Lord is the foundation of life, to turn one away from the snares of death. That's a powerful set of verses. But I want you to realize that when it's saying the fear of the Lord, it's not talking about being afraid. It's not talking about being afraid of God, like I'm trembling in fear of God. The Hebrew and the Greek words that were used at the time, when they used them in one context, they meant afraid and fear. But when used in another context, the same word would mean something totally different. It would mean reverence and respect. Okay, so that's the way these words are used in these passages. So I want to reread that passage to you, but utilizing respect and reverence instead of fear, and I want you to see the impact it has. So here you go. With respect and reverence for the Lord, there is strong confidence, and his children will have a place of refuge. The respect and reverence of the Lord is a fountain of life, to turn one away from the snares of death. That has a more impact on your life when you look at it like that. Because if you have reverence and just this awe, respect of someone or something, then when you're in its presence, you're at peace. You know you're watching out for. You know you're looking for. You know what's working. So that's the point of what we're trying to get to here is how do you have that in your home? How do you apply that into your home life? Okay? Proverbs 1:7 tells us this. It says, "Fear of the Lord," same thing, remember, respect and reverence of the Lord is the foundation of true knowledge. The foundation of true knowledge. So, how do we get that in our house? How do we get this respect and reverence and awe of God in our homes so that our spouses and our children know that when the waves of onslaught from this world start attacking us, we have a place that we can go and be protected, have a place of refuge? Here's my question to you. Are you applying the aspects, the principles that we've been talking about in this message, in this series, Marriage and Family? Are you applying those? Because if you're applying them, you are laying the foundation, the groundwork of a place, house of refuge. You are building it, one prayer, one incident, one occurrence at a time. Okay? I promise you that. And that's how you get it. That's how you establish a house of refuge, by applying these principles that we've talked about in this series. I want to read another verse for you. And it's in the book of Psalms, okay? Psalms 46, verses 1 and 2. Now listen to this. Here we go. God is our refuge. Okay? Now we're talking about building a house of refuge, but that house is not a house of refuge without God. Then it's just a structure of safety. I love it. Then it's just a safe place. No, I don't want a safe place. I want a house of refuge. Without God, it's just a safe place. With God, it becomes a house of refuge. God is our refuge and strength, always ready to help in times of trouble. So we will not fear. Now, this is talking about being afraid. We will not fear when earthquakes come and the mountains crumble into the sea. Let me ask you this. Now, I wrote these questions down in my notes. How many earthquakes have happened in your life? Some of us, myself included, some of us are going through a constant series of just tremors and aftershocks and a big one, and then we rumble and it doesn't stop. How many earthquakes are going through your life? Are you afraid? Or do you go to your house of refuge? Let me ask you another question based on the second part of that. Now remember, before I ask you these questions, I want to look back. I did a series a while back where we talked about our mountains and overcoming our mountains, okay, that are put in our path for God, overcoming our mountains. So let me ask you this question. How many mountains in your life have crumbled into the seas? And did they do so because you went to your house of refuge in God and He gave you the strength to conquer those mountains? Or did you just avoid them? They didn't crumble into the sea. God can move mountains in your life. God can smooth the mountains into the field and plains. Just let them crumble into the sea. But only if you establish a house of refuge by applying the characteristics and the principles that we've talked about in this series. And I'll just go back through them real quick. Here, let's just go back through them real quick. Empathy and communication. That's a big one. Communication. Relationship focus. That's another big one. Probably the biggest one yet. Pray during conflict. Do you pray during conflict with your spouse and your children? Character of commitment. Do you show that? Do you show that to your children? What about words of affirmation? Do you give those to your spouse and children? Do you embrace forgiveness when you mess up? Do you eliminate fear? Do you show God's vision to your family? And are you honing the arrows God gave you? These are all aspects, principles that we've talked about to establish a house of refuge. So my daily drink today is this. Do you have a house of refuge? Is God in that house? Or is your home just a safe place for your family? Think about it. Build up the walls spiritually and establish a house of refuge. Y'all be blessed. We'll see you tomorrow.